Welcome to the 29 for 29 podcast. 29 for 29 is an initiative to enable, amplify, and support young climate change makers in the run up to COP29. Our mission is to amplify their voices and give them a platform to share their stories and to inspire young people. On today's podcast, we're joined by Mayank Malviya. Uh, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to Mayank. It's great having you today. So let's get started. Let's begin by asking Mayank a little bit about himself and his work.
Hello all, I am Mayank Malviya. I am from Shajapur, Madhya Pradesh. I'm currently a student at IIT Bhubaneswar. I'm studying economics and education. I'm the state coordinator for the Madhya Pradesh chapter of Global Youth Biodiversity Network, which is the official youth organizing platform for UNCBD. And I've been working on climate education initiative for the past 2 years, and the journey has been very fulfilling.
What motivated you exactly to join the climate movement, and how has your journey been up until now?
The place I've grown up is Shajapur, which is in the Malwa region of Madhya Pradesh. And in records, it is a zero forest area district. So growing up in a place which has like a minimal exposure to nature was a significant setback. Is a significant setback. It's still a significant setback for the people here and the students here. So, like at the age of 12 or 13, I realized that this is not good. Like I don't want to grow up in a place which has no nature or like minimal nature. So I decided it needs to be fixed, but I didn't know what to do about it. Like I was just a school student as everybody else. So one fine day, when I was in high school, one fine day, my science teacher comes to me and says that Mayank, you have been selected to participate. You have been selected to represent our school in a district level quiz competition, which is related to biodiversity. I was always intrigued with subjects like environmental science and biodiversity and biology. So I took it as a sign. I prepared really hard for the quiz, like hopped written websites, to books, to teachers, to YouTube videos to learn as much as I can. And fortunately, we won that quiz. Like we were a group of three people, and we won the district level quiz, and we got the opportunity to participate in the state level quiz. And that state level quiz was a very immersive event. It was a 3 day event. Like I loved the concept of the state level quiz. We got to visit a national park. We did nature trails and treasure hunts in jungle, and we visited some water bodies of Bhopal as well. So at the end of the quiz, we won the state level quiz, and at that very moment, I realized that yes, now I've learned something and I can do something about it. So that was the moment of inspiration for me. So after a few months, when we won the quiz, Gibbon launched its newly launched Madhya Pradesh chapter under IYBN and Indian Youth Biodiversity Network. So I joined in as a member, and after a few months, we launched our first initiative, our flagship initiative, Let's Join Hands, which focuses on climate education and climate and biodiversity conservation education among school students. So we organize workshops, training sessions, capacity building sessions, nature trails as well, plantation drives for students to engage them in activities, engage them in conservation activities. The vision is to empower youth for to take action in their own communities and in their own home as well. So yeah, it has been very fulfilling till now.
That's wonderful to know, truly. I wanted to ask you about a project that you are working on currently to restore an ecologically degraded area in your district, right? So, with regard to that, what have been the challenges as well as successes uh, that you have observed in this effort of yours?
Restoration is a very lengthy process. It needs consistent funding, tools, and manpower as well to like people to volunteer for your plantation drives. So one of the biggest challenges in restoration is securing a long time commitment from people and securing resources as well. So For this, we have collaborated with our forest department, district forest department, and it has been very instrumental for us. Forest department has provided us with technical guidance, resources such as plants, saplings, and other tools used in plantation drives. Also, they're very supportive. They've always want to scale up our initiative. Um, One of the biggest successes is that we have many volunteers with us. We have people with us, and people want to work for us. So, young people participation has been a really uh, what can I say? Has been a really successful event in our initiative. Like we have senior citizens as well, we have students as well, we have young people as well. We have government employees coming to our plantation driver Sundays. So yes, I believe that this creates a sense of ownership and pride that this environment is ours, and we are the one to we are the one to conserve it. So yes, this approach will sustain the project for years.
That's great to hear about. Since you have just told us that you're state coordinator for the Global Youth Biodiversity Network, and you also are working on this restoration project, and through these projects, you're able to engage a lot of youth in biodiversity management as well as ecological exploration, right? So, I wanted to ask you what strategies have proven to be most successful when it comes to mobilizing students, and what kind of changes have you observed in their understanding as well as their involvement in these initiatives?
Initially, we conduct capacity building sessions, workshops, eco workshops in schools for students. But the most proven strategy, I would say, is to make these activities hands-on and relevant to students' day-to-day life. If they go to them, they should be able to connect what we have taught them in the sessions. So instead of just talking about biodiversity loss and climate change and ecology and everything, uh, we should make it engaging. So we have done eco workshops like plant Ganesh and seed balls. Also, by integrating both our initiative, we take students to our restoration site. So, like we do it on every Sunday. Like not just schools, but we have identified coaching centers as well, and we do plantation drive on Sunday at our restoration sites. So, see, I will be studying education as well in coming years, and there's something called pedagogy and child psychology, and making it engaging for student would create a lasting impression on their mind, and it increases curiosity and motivation as well. So, uh, such activity shows them that they can contribute actively to climate action and climate action at their own level. They don't need to do like the policy things going on in UN and all, but if they start small, it will create an impact on like wider aspects.
No, rightly said. And I really hope a lot more youth end up joining your initiative. So, all the best for that. Now, I would like to ask you that you have been, recognized as a youth icon for having formed Madhya Pradesh's state youth policy, right? So, in that capacity, how do you, feel about local governments and policies? Like, what role do these institutions and policies play when it comes to, supporting your conservation efforts? And also, what policy changes would you advocate in order to increase youth involvement in climate action?
Okay, so the role of government in influencing policy is very crucial because they can support and scale up conservation effort or like education efforts. So government can not only provide us resources and infrastructure, but also the legitimacy needed to drive community-wide impacts. So, for this, I would like to advocate for three policy changes. One is that school should include hands-on environmental education program in the curriculum, and like learning from the real-time solution can be transformative. And one of the goal for CBD is one of the goal is like transformative changes, transformative education only. So changes their life. This changes their lifelong attitude towards conservation. So yes, now we have new education policy as well, uh, which has a provision to integrate environment education in school curriculum. So I hope it soon gets implemented and do wonders. Secondly, we need policies that create accessible grants or funding opportunities for youth-led projects. Many young people have powerful ideas which can create huge impact, but they they do not have enough resources to bring them to life. So having a proper structured policy for that would be a big change in India definitely. And the third policy change I would like to advocate is to push policies that include youth representation in local environmental council and decision making bodies like gram panchayat. We can have a youth council at gram panchayat level who can work for the environmental health of their villages. So if we have a council at every village, we don't need to focus on like doing it statewide or nationwide. We have our local things and we can work for that. So climate action should include, in this way, climate action would include priorities and perspective of the next generations. And again, the sense of ownership and pride comes. So yeah,
That's no, very nicely put, Mayank, must say. Now let's come to the fun part of the podcast. Now I'd like to ask you, if you were to give any one message to our world leaders, what would that message be? I'm really keen to know.
the first one would be to prioritize youth participation and participation from indigenous and tribal communities in decision making processes, because they are the one who are most impacted by climate change, and the voices should get heard. The one would be to prioritize long term solutions over short term gains, because like working for climate change is a very long process, and focusing on long term solutions rather than short term gains can do wonders. So yes.
Awesome. Now, lastly, what is a one-line message that you would like to give to, young people like you who wish to make a change or who wish to become change makers themselves?
I would say start small, stay consistent, stay persistent, and remember that the small deed you do today will lead you to create a meaningful impact tomorrow. So it is never too late to start. There will be moments when it gets overwhelming. Try to focus on the long term vision, like the day you started, the day you think that I'm doing this, I'm not doing this for money, I'm not doing this for something else, I'm doing this for welfare of the people, I'm doing this for the people. So think about that when this situation comes.
That's a great message. Thank you for that, Mayank. With this, we have come to the end of our podcast, and I would like to extend my gratitude to you for joining us today and for sharing your experiences and knowledge. I wish you the best of luck for your conservation efforts, and I hope that you continue to make great strides in climate advocacy and biodiversity management. Uh, Thank you so much for joining us today. Would you like to say a few last words before we end?
This campaign 29 for 29 initiative is like highlighting young advocates' journey, and it will surely empower the coming generation to work for climate action. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you, Mayank.